Looking at my other video, I am going to make a concentrated effort to not play with my hair the entirety of this one, because that's what I seemed to have done in the last one. And I was like, listen, it's summer, it's humid, my hair's down, I have a fan blowing behind me, but like, it can only do so much. Maybe I should just put it up. But when I put it up, my head looks like a pumpkin, because I have a very round face. And my head looks like a pumpkin. My girlfriend thinks it's cute. She's a fan of round faces. I, however, am not, which is not great because I have one. But, you know, c'est la vie. You get what you get. I could have gotten worse, kind of deal. I already failed. I'm like 3 minutes into this video. 3 minutes? I'm 59 seconds into this video, and I already failed not playing with my hair. Fabulous. Fabulous. I'm just gonna, see, look, it's a pumpkin head. It's a pumpkin on my head. Do you see this? When I was a kid, my mom had, it was like the first boyfriend she had after my mom and dad broke up. And his name was Wayne Barrett, and he was an absolute sweetheart. I called him Mr. B. These jets. These jets. These jets are homophobic. Anywho, so I called him Mr. B. And when I was really upset when I was a kid, I used to make this, like, particular face, apparently, which had the overall impression of making my eyes look like little triangles, because I would, like, push my eyebrows together in a particular way, and my eyebrows look like, anyways, like this. And my eyes look like little triangles. So, Mr. B used to call me Pumpkinhead. And you know what? He was right. He was right. Look at it. It's round. Oh well. Could be worse. When I was a kid, oh boy. You know, I moved a lot when I was a kid, because even though my mom wasn't military anymore, she's a vet, we still, like, she worked for the government, and every, like, several years or so, like, she would, that we'd move to a different base, and the bases sometimes were in different states, kind of thing. So, like, when I was 7, we moved out of Massachusetts, and we were in Maryland for a year, and then we were in South Carolina from, like, the age of, like, 9 to 12, we were in South Carolina. No, wait, was it 12? Yeah, 9 to 12, we were in South Carolina. So, that was, yeah. Was it 9? Right? Right? Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking of. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't stay in one place, because I didn't really, I was a really bookish kid. Like, I didn't really socialize very well. I had, books, basically. I just had books. Just books. And, like, a singular friend every grade. I had, like, none in kindergarten, none in first grade, but I had, a friend named Carly in 2nd grade. And in 3rd grade, I had friends, but they didn't go to my school. I had, like, my neighborhood friends, which was, like, Randy, who lived behind me, and Heather lived across the way, and hi, Greg.
What you doing?
I'm making a video diary, and you are gate crashing. This is Greg.
Let me.
Nice, thank you.
I came to check the mail, but
Sorry about that. He came home to check on something we're waiting for in the mail. But yeah, so 3rd grade, had friends around Heather and Randy, like I was saying. 4th grade, I had 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I had Jillian, who was my best friend, my first best friend. But then her parents, it's like this whole thing. Like, her parents bought a Bowflex machine from my mom, and they were paying it in installments, which my mom was okay with because, you know, they were friends, and she, you know, she knew where they lived and everything. And then, like, I bike over there one Saturday, and they're, like, packing everything up, and they're moving. And they sent one check, like they were supposed to, after they moved, and then, like, that was it. And it had, like, no return address on it. And Jillian wasn't allowed to stay in contact with me because they stole, like, $2,500 from my mom, basically. I was like, cool, you guys are assholes. Big assholes. Yep. Heather and, I believe it was Darren, something like that. Heather and Darren. Yeah, fuck you, if you guys are out there. And then I moved here to Virginia. And, you know, I'm glad I didn't, what I was trying to say was that I'm glad I didn't stay in the same place growing up my whole life, because it was easier to start over here and easier to get away from, you know, the kids that were not very nice when I was a kid, you know. Like, I didn't have to deal with my childhood bullies after I moved, because sorry, I thought I heard something. You know, I made friends here, and the first friend I made in Virginia, I made at my bus stop. I was reading, I forget which volume of Naruto, the manga, however you want to say it, and she, like, walked over to me and was like, "What you reading?" And that was, like, the first conversation we had, and we were like, it was, like, February of, like, 07 or something, like, and she is still my best friend. Cheyenne. She's home. Oh my god. Yeah, no, Greg locked himself out as he was leaving. Without the car keys. He would forget his head if it wasn't attached. And long story short, I did hear something, but I couldn't hear it over, like, the jets and the fan and myself talking. Anywho, back to Cheyenne. She's all, like, married now and everything, and, like, grown up. She has her own house. I'm like, oh my god, what happened? But yeah, she's been my best friend since we were 12, and she was, in a lot of ways, like, Cheyenne is the queen bee of wherever she goes and wherever she is. So when I was in the new kid on the block, if people were inclined to make fun of me or try to be mean, they'd had to go through Cheyenne. And that's not, what's the word I'm looking for? A prudent thing to attempt. So she's still my best friend. And yeah, I mean, but I'm glad I didn't have to stay with, you know, the kids that were particularly cruel to me when I was a kid growing up and having to go to high school with them and everything. Like, I got to come here, and while it wasn't always the smoothest sailing, thank you, Virginia Beach Public School System, and its strange Hogwartsian method of student sorting. I'm not joking. There were, in my middle school, you were assigned a team based off of, some of it was your grade performance, and some of it was what you were aiming for in high school / college. It was like 7th grade was the Dolphins, the Cougars, and the Beachcombers, I believe. And 8th grade was SWAT team, A team, and I don't remember. I was SWAT. Or was 8th grade the Beachcombers? Either way, it was strange. And I wrote home to my friends in South Carolina when I first moved here, and I was like, y'all, they sort people into houses. Like, this is Game of Thrones. Not Game of Thrones, fuck me. Like, this is Harry Potter. I ended up on the Dolphins. Cheyenne was a cougar. Cheyenne was a cougar. Crystal and Ronan, I believe, no, Ronan was a dolphin. That's my girlfriend's best friend. Ronan was a dolphin, and Crystal might have been a beachcomber. Either way, I don't think I was on. I was not on a team with any of my friends in middle school. And then like high school was thankfully a normal high school for the most part. Cox High School. Yes, I've heard all the jokes. We have a swim team. The joke was like, I don't remember their actual official name, but it was like, they're the Cox Strokers. With the motto, go in hard and come out wet. And I was like, guys, it was like one of the pranks to play on freshmen coming into high school was to tell them the pool was on the 3rd floor. First of all, we don't have a 3rd floor. It's a 2-story building. Second of all, we did not have a pool. The swim team practiced at the rec center, which was like half a mile down the road. So, anyhow, yeah, no, high school was pretty much normal levels of bullshit. I didn't have a singular class with Cheyenne the entirety of high school until my senior year. It was madness. Absolute madness. I was like, I have to see all you fuckers again, but I can't see my best friend. We used to hang out like in between classes. And there was like this whole debacle in 8th grade where my mom she sent me to go live with my dad. It was supposed to be for the year of 8th grade because I was being a teenage shithead. And it didn't end up being that because my dad is awful and my mom came to get me after like a month. But when I got back to Virginia, they would not let me go back into my language class. I could go back into my other classes, but they would not let me back into my Japanese class, which was absolute horseshit because they were like, oh, well, it's not really fair, blah, 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 blah. They wouldn't listen when I was like, I can catch up on the work that I missed. They didn't think I could do it, which more the fool them. I ended up taking Japanese for 3 years in high school. And I am the only person, by the way, I took Japanese with Crystal and Ronan. And the only person who still speaks Japanese with any level of fluidity. Any level. Crystal can recognize, like, I'm hungry and I'm tired, and Ronan can recognize, this is going to sound strange, Ronan can recognize the sentence, I eat babies. In Japanese, because Ronan looked up how to say that when we were like 14, was like, yes, and that's like, I think the only thing they ever independently looked up on their own. And it's the only thing they remember. I, on the other hand, not so much. And again, Great Neck Middle School, I could have caught up in the Japanese class. You guys are just dumb. Oh well. Now that I've been thoroughly interrupted and this is going on a 15-minute video, my point was that I'm very glad I got to start over and redefine myself as a teenager, or a preteen, as it was for like a month before I turned 13 when I got here, rather than being with the same kids since like kindergarten. I feel like that would be stifling, because there would be no way to distance yourself from who you have been. It's kind of like, when kids get out of the same town they've been in their whole lives and they go to college and they come back with a much more expanded worldview. I feel like there's a little bit of that, just a smidge. Anyways, I'm gonna let you go now because the Jets are coming. You know, like the British with power of beer. The Jets are coming. The Jets are coming. Bye-bye.